Good morning, student. Myself, Professor Dhaval Chandarana, and today we will discuss a data management system subject, unit number 2, data model. In my previous lecture, we will discuss a different fundamental things of entity relation model. We will go through the each and every things which are important for the ER diagram as well as entity relationship model, and we will see each and everything with a best example. We will go through the every possible concept of ER diagram as well as how we create a ER diagram with more effectiveness, as well as how to create a entity relation model with help of different symbols. So today we will discuss one point known as a different types of data model. The name itself suggests that there are the different types of data model. We will discuss every model with a different example. So let's see what are the different types and how it's work in a different manner. So what is data model? First we need to know what is the data models, and then we can start with the different types of data model. So a data model, or we can say a database model, is a type of data model that define the logical structures of database. In our previous lecture, we will discuss a logical concept of database. If we require to represent with the graphical symbol, we are using a different data models. We will discuss entity relationship model. There are the lots of symbols through which we can define a logical structures of database. So we can simply say that a logical structures of database, if we want to represent through the symbols, it is known as a data model. It determines how data can be stored, accessed and updated in a data management system. Means we can simply say that the actual flow of database where we can store a data, retrieve, or we can access a data, and if we want to modify a data, so we can define with the help of data model. The most popular example of data model is relational model, which use the table based format. If we want to go through the actual flow of data, so we can use as an example known as a relational model, because a relational model define more than one table and we can retrieve a lots of information with help of a data model. So we know that where the actual data will be available in a particular table and how we can retrieve a different data with a different tables. So we see that what are the different data models. Start with the entity relationship model. We are going through the each and every symbols which are represent the entity relationship model in our previous last 6 lecture. Second, known as a network model. Third one, known as a relational model. And the fourth one, it is known as a object oriented data models. So in a database model, we are dividing 4 different types of data model. Now we see each and every model with help of example. Start with the hierarchical model. It is not part of your 4th different model, but with help of hierarchical model we understand some another model. So it is a dependency model where we understand first a hierarchical model, then we can with help of hierarchical model we can understand a network model. The hierarchical model organizes a data into tree like structure where each record has a single parents or a root. So we know that what is the tree structure and how it works. So hierarchical model look like a tree structures. Like a below diagram define that department have a 2 roots, or sorry, department is a root and there are the 2 different child known as a student and a professor. So this hierarchy start from the root data and example like a tree, adding the child node to the parents node. So if you want to go through this diagram, then we easily find out that a root known as a department, if there are the department, the 2 entity will be available, a student as well as a professor. So whenever we require to add some child with help of root model, it is known as a hierarchical model. In a hierarchical model, data is organized into a tree like structure. You see the above example with too many relationship between 2 different types of data. For example, one department can have a many professor and a many student. So it is known as a one-to-many relationship. We also go through this in our previous lectures. So if you want to represent in ER diagram, we know that how we can represent with a different symbols. Second model, it is known as a network model. This is an extension of hierarchical model, because we know that hierarchical model is same like a network model. So that's why we understand first hierarchical model, and now we understand the network model. Allowing to many relationship in a tree like structures that allows a multiple parents. In our previous hierarchical models, there are only single root and there are different multiple child nodes. Means there are single parents but they have a multiple child node. In a network models, we can allow a multiple parents with the multiple connections. So we can simply say it is known as a many to many relationship. Diagram says A connected with the B and C, and B connected with the D and E. So in an example, we easily understand that D have many parents, like D have first B parents and B have A parents. So there are the two root node for the D. So we can say that it is known as a many to many relationship. In a second case, that E have a two root nodes known as a B and a C. Same like if we consider as a F, there are the two root nodes C and F. So we can easy to understand that why a network model known as a many to many relationship. Third, it is known as entity relationship model. In the database model, a relationship are created by dividing the object on interest into the entity. Entity means nothing but a known as a table, and its characteristics into the attributes. Attributes means we know that attributes known as a numbers of column which will define in a particular table. So in the below example, we can easily understand now, because if you are watching my all the 6 video of unit number 2, you can easily identify that there are all the symbols which we are go through then in previous 6 lecture, and understand what is the requirement of entity relations model and what are the different symbols where we represent our entity relationship model. So in our example, student, it is an entity, book, it is a second entity, roll number, name, branch and semester, it is a part of student entity known as attributes. And a book, there are the author, price, book number and name known are the attributes of book entities. Whenever you represent any attributes with the help of underline, it is known as a primary key attributes of a particular relationship. So we can easily understand now, a book have a book number known as a primary key attributes, and student have a roll number known as a primary key attributes of a student. And in an entity relationship model, if we represent or if we connect two different entity, we require a relationship sets. With help of relationship sets, we are easily connect two different entity. So we are using so many symbols. With help of so many symbols, we are easily represent entity relationship model. If you have any doubt, please go through my 6th video of unit number 2. And the last one, known as a relational model. In this model, data is organized in a two-dimensional table. It is known as a relational model. So there are the two or more than two tables which are connected with each other, and the relationship is maintained by the storing a common attributes. With help of a common attributes means a column name. With help of common attributes, we can retrieve a unique record known as a primary key attributes and foreign key attributes. With help of all the attributes, we can easily retrieve a unique record from the multiple tables. So it is known as a relational model. Let's see a one table known as a relations, or we can say R number, a student name and age. Second table known as a subject ID, subject name and teacher name. There are the two different tables. Now with help of a relational model, we can connect a two table, and as per the definitions, relationship is maintained by the storing a common attributes. So in a table which are a relational table, where we are storing a R number of table 1, subject ID of second table and third column known as a marks. So with help of two different column which are common for the single table, with help of these two column we can easily retrieve a relation, or we can say roll number 1 XY student have a DBMS subject, there are the 98 marks. So in a relation model we can simply say that we just create a intermediated table. With help of intermediated table we can retrieve the particular records which are separated in different table. I will just repeat the line that two-dimensional table, it's known as a dimension 1 and it's known as a dimension 2, and the relationship is maintained by the storing a common attributes. So in an intermediated table we can use a common attributes known as a roll number and subject ID. With help of common attributes we can retrieve a unique record of a different table. It is known as a relational model. You can easily find out that as per the link or as per my explanation, roll number and subject ID is a common attribute of a third table known as an intermediated table. And the last and the fourth model known as the object oriented data models. This data model is another method of representing real world object. Whenever we know that OOP concept, object oriented data model, at that time it is the best way to represent a different real object with help of object. It consider each object in the world as an object and isolate it from the each other. Means whenever we require to represent any of the class, so we just create an object. With help of object we can retrieve all the informations with a particular dependence class. Its groups its related functionality together, means it's create a particular group to related functionality together and allow inherits its functionality to other related subgroup. So we can say that as per the particular line it is known as a hierarchical structures, that if we create some of the object of a particular class, if we create another class and derived particular object of another class, so we can directly access all the particular methods and functionality of another class. So as per the definitions we can say that whenever we require to reuse a particular code, at that time we are using object oriented data models. I hope you are clear all the data models with help of example. If you have any doubt, then please go through this my video and go through the all example which I will explain in a particular data models. I hope you are like. Thank you so much.